Foundations, seeing clearly. Before any real transformation can begin, we must first learn how to see clearly. The Buddha taught that wisdom does not arise from avoiding life's difficulties, but from understanding them deeply and honestly. This first section invites you to look at your experience with courage, curiosity, and kindness. Lesson 1: Recognize suffering honestly. The Buddha began his teaching not with comfort, but with truth. He observed that suffering, dissatisfaction, stress, unease, is a universal part of human life. This does not mean life is meaningless or bleak. It simply means that denying pain only strengthens it. When we gently acknowledge our struggles instead of suppressing them, we take the first step toward freedom. As a practice, notice one form of discomfort today, physical or emotional, and simply acknowledge it without judgment. Lesson 2: Understand the causes of suffering, not through blame, but insight. Suffering does not arise randomly. According to the Buddha, it is often rooted in craving, the constant desire for things to be different than they are, and in attachment to outcomes, identities, or expectations. Instead of blaming yourself or others, try asking quietly, what am I clinging to in this moment? This question opens the door to wisdom rather than guilt. Lesson 3: Realize that freedom from suffering is possible. One of the most compassionate aspects of the Buddha's teaching is hope grounded in reality. He taught that when the causes of suffering are understood and gradually released, peace naturally arises. This freedom is not distant or mystical, it unfolds moment by moment as awareness deepens. Lesson 4: Walk a practical path, step by step. The Buddha did not stop at insight, he offered a path, a balanced way of living known as the Eightfold Path. It integrates wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. You are not expected to master it all at once. Even practicing one aspect, such as speaking more truthfully or acting with greater care, begins to realign your life. This foundation reminds us of something profound: clarity is not harsh, and truth is not cruel. When seen with understanding, they become the beginning of peace. Mindfulness and meditation, training the mind. Once the foundation of clear understanding is laid, the Buddha gently directs us inward, toward the mind itself. He observed that much of our suffering does not come from life's events, but from how the untrained mind reacts to them. This section invites you to cultivate awareness, not to control the mind, but to understand it with patience and care. Lesson 5: Learn to be present with what is. Mindfulness begins with simple presence. The Buddha taught that awareness of the present moment, especially through the breath, steadies the mind and softens inner agitation. You do not need to change your breath, simply notice it as it is. Even a few conscious breaths can interrupt patterns of stress and bring you back to yourself. Lesson 6: Observe thoughts without becoming them. The mind produces thoughts constantly, plans, memories, worries, judgments. The Buddha encouraged observing these thoughts as passing events, not as absolute truths. When you notice a thought arise, gently label it as thinking and let it pass. This practice creates space between awareness and reaction, allowing wisdom to emerge. Lesson 7: Meet discomfort with curiosity, not resistance. When unpleasant feelings arise, our instinct is often to escape or suppress them. The Buddha taught that mindful observation transforms suffering. Instead of pushing discomfort away, try observing it kindly, noticing where it appears in the body and how it changes. Often, what we allow with awareness begins to loosen on its own. Lesson 8: Cultivate steady attention through meditation. Meditation is not about achieving silence or perfection. It is the repeated, patient act of returning, to the breath, to awareness, to now. Over time, this steadiness strengthens clarity, emotional balance, and insight. Even short, consistent practice is deeply transformative. This section teaches an essential truth: the mind can be a source of confusion, but it can also become a refuge. With mindfulness and meditation, you are not escaping life, you are learning to meet it fully, wisely, and with peace. Ethics and compassion, living with a kind heart. As mindfulness deepens, the Buddha gently turns our attention outward, toward how we live, speak, and relate to others. Insight, he taught, is incomplete without ethical living. True wisdom naturally expresses itself through kindness, care, and responsibility. This section explores how compassion becomes a living practice, not just a feeling. Lesson 9. Cultivate loving kindness as a daily practice. The Buddha emphasized metta, or loving kindness, as a foundation for inner peace. This is not sentimental affection, but a sincere wish for well-being, for yourself and for others. Begin gently by offering kindness inward. May I be safe. May I be at ease. Over time, extend this wish to loved ones, strangers, and even those with whom you struggle. Compassion practiced repeatedly reshapes the heart. Lesson 10. Practice right speech to reduce harm. Words carry great power. The Buddha taught that speech should be truthful, helpful, and kind. Before speaking, pause briefly and reflect, is this true? Is it beneficial? Is it timely? Even small moments of mindful speech can transform relationships and prevent unnecessary suffering. Lesson 11. Let your actions reflect care and integrity. Ethical conduct, according to the Buddha, is not about rigid rules but about reducing harm. Acting honestly, refraining from exploitation, and choosing livelihoods that do not injure others create a sense of inner alignment. When your actions are guided by conscience, the mind rests more easily. Lesson 12. Practice compassion without losing balance. True compassion includes wisdom. The Buddha taught that while we should care deeply, we must also recognize our limits. You can offer support without carrying the weight of the entire world. Compassion guided by clarity prevents burnout and nurtures sustainable kindness. This section reminds us that spiritual growth is visible in how we treat others. A calm mind finds expression in gentle words, thoughtful actions, and a heart that wishes no harm. In living this way, compassion becomes not an effort, but a natural response to life. Wisdom and non attachment, learning to let go. As practice matures, the Buddha invites us to look even more deeply, not only at what we do, but at how we understand reality itself. Wisdom, in his teaching, is not intellectual knowledge. It is clear seeing, the ability to perceive life as it truly is, without clinging or resistance. This section explores how insight and letting go gently free the heart. Lesson 13. Understand impermanence as a teacher, not an enemy. The Buddha taught that all conditioned things are impermanent, emotions, relationships, possessions, even our sense of self. Suffering arises when we cling to what is naturally changing. When impermanence is understood, appreciation replaces fear. Lesson 13. Understand impermanence as a teacher, not an enemy. The Buddha taught that all conditioned things are impermanent, emotions, relationships, possessions, even our sense of self. Suffering arises when we cling to what is naturally changing. When impermanence is understood, appreciation replaces fear. You learn to value moments without demanding they last forever. This understanding brings lightness rather than loss. Lesson 14. Soften attachment to rigid identity. We often suffer because we hold tightly to ideas of who we are, our roles, opinions, and stories about ourselves. The Buddha observed that what we call self is a fluid process, constantly changing. By loosening identification with labels and narratives, we create space for growth. You can ask gently, who am I in this moment, beyond this thought or role? Lesson 15. Practice wise discernment instead of blind belief. One of the Buddha's most compassionate teachings is his encouragement to question and verify. He advised seekers not to accept teachings merely because they are ancient, popular, or spoken by authority, but to test them in lived experience. If a practice reduces greed, hatred, and confusion, it is worth cultivating. Wisdom grows through careful observation and honest reflection. This section teaches a subtle but powerful truth: freedom does not come from holding on more tightly, but from releasing what was never truly ours to control. As attachment loosens, clarity deepens, and life is met with greater ease, humility, and understanding. Relationships, speech and community, walking the path together. The Buddha never taught in isolation from human life. He understood that much of our joy and suffering arises in relationship, through conversation, conflict, affection, and belonging. This section explores how awareness and wisdom are expressed in how we listen, speak, and live alongside others. Lesson 16: Practice deep listening as an act of compassion. The Buddha taught that listening with full attention is a form of generosity. Often, we listen only to respond or defend ourselves. Deep listening asks something gentler: to be fully present with another person's experience, without interruption or judgment. When you listen this way, others feel seen, and misunderstandings soften naturally. Lesson 17: Use speech to create harmony, not division. Speech can heal or harm. The Buddha emphasized right speech, words that are truthful, kind, and spoken at the right time. Before speaking, pause and ask, will this bring clarity or confusion? Peace or agitation? Even silence, when chosen mindfully, can be an expression of wisdom. Lesson 18: Walk the path with supportive community. The Buddha valued Sangha, spiritual friendship and community, as an essential support for practice. Walking alone can be difficult, walking together encourages steadiness and honesty. Seek companions who value integrity, reflection, and growth. Even one supportive presence can strengthen your resolve and deepen understanding. This section reminds us that awakening is not separate from daily life. Each conversation becomes a practice. Each relationship becomes a mirror. When mindfulness meets connection, the path unfolds not in isolation, but in shared humanity, patience, and mutual care. Daily practice and integration, living the teachings. In the final section, the Buddha's teachings return us to where they truly belong: daily life. Insight, mindfulness, and compassion find their true value not in theory, but in how we live moment by moment. This section invites you to integrate what you have learned in small, steady, and sincere ways. Lesson 19: Choose consistency over intensity. The Buddha taught that transformation happens through repeated, gentle effort. You do not need dramatic practices or long hours of meditation. A few minutes of mindful breathing, one act of kindness, or one moment of awareness practiced daily can quietly reshape the mind. What matters is continuity. Like water shaping stone, steady practice creates lasting change. Lesson 20: Turn everyday life into a path of awareness. The path is not separate from ordinary activities. Washing dishes, walking, speaking, or resting can all become opportunities for mindfulness. The Buddha encouraged awareness in every posture: standing, sitting, walking, and lying down. When you bring attention to simple actions, life itself becomes the teacher. Integration also means patience. There will be days of clarity and days of struggle. The Buddha reminded his followers to meet both with equanimity. Progress on the path is not measured by perfection, but by sincerity and perseverance. As you carry these lessons forward, remember that the path unfolds gradually. You are not required to become someone else. You are simply learning to meet life with greater honesty, kindness, and understanding. Let this practice be gentle. Let it be steady. And let it serve not only your own peace, but the well-being of all those you encounter. As we come to the end of this journey, I invite you to pause once more, not to rush forward, but to let what you've heard settle quietly within you. The Buddha's teachings were never meant to overwhelm or instruct harshly. They were offered as gentle guidance, meant to be discovered gradually, through your own lived experience. You may not remember all 20 lessons, and that is perfectly alright. If even one idea from this exploration stayed with you, one moment of awareness, one reminder to be kinder, one invitation to let go, then this time has been meaningful. The path unfolds one step at a time, always beginning right where you are. Remember, this is not a journey toward becoming someone new. It is a return, to clarity, to compassion, to a quieter and more honest way of meeting life. There will be moments of ease and moments of challenge, and both are part of the practice. What matters is not perfection, but sincerity. If you feel drawn to continue, begin simply. A few mindful breaths each day. A kinder response in a difficult moment. A willingness to observe rather than react. These small acts, repeated gently, can transform the way you experience the world. Thank you for offering your time and attention with such openness. May your path be steady. May your heart remain soft and courageous. And may the wisdom you cultivate bring peace not only to your own life, but to all those you encounter. Until we meet again, walk gently, and be well.